Hello there. Thank you so much for joining me for this intuitive card reading for 2022. I can't believe it. We're here finally. The deck that I'm going to be using for this reading is none other than the Cosmovisions Oracle. If you are interested, this is just to know what the vibe of this is. You'll see it in this reading, but the reason I chose this is because this is a set of cards to ease your soul. That sounds good to me. That sounds really good to me. I care very much about bringing ease and relief and inspiration to our spirit and to our soul, so we can find ourselves again and again, so that we can remember exactly who we are and who we are becoming. So if you are ready and interested in nurturing your spiritual practice, if you're interested in really making your own soul and your relationship with your soul and your spirit just a part of your life in 2022, I recommend reading tarot and oracle cards for yourself. If you don't already, go get a deck. It's time. I know I'm just being a little funny here, but I'm serious. It'll take a little time. If you haven't already started to practice, it'll take a little time, and that's your journey, and I'm excited for you. For those of you that do read tarot and oracle cards, this is it. This is the good stuff, right? Speaking of the reading, I'm going to be going into the whole year of 2022. We're going to look at it together. I'm going to show you the cards with the Cosmovision Oracle deck. And so to make the most of this reading, I recommend that you get your notebook out if you get the chance, and that you take notes of what you see in the cards and also what you hear or what you think as this reading progresses. I'm going to be bringing up a lot of details and making a lot of connections. That's what I'm really good at, is making a lot of connections between the cards. So I hope that really helps you really pop open your own perception. Please share your insights or your perceptions or your perspective in the comments, so that we can chat about it and go, wow, right? Wow. So if this is something that's important to you as a tarot card reader, as an oracle card reader, or if you're even just ready to kind of get started with a practice, I invite you to join me in my next Intuitive Circle session, January 9th. We meet as a group twice every month on Sundays throughout the whole year, every year, and we come together for a full-length intuitive card reading practice. You can think of this very much the same as going to a yoga class, where you go through the practice as a whole for yourself. I will post the link to that in the description below for you, or you can just go to www.intuitivegym.com to learn more and sign up for the free class that I'm offering for you. One other thing for tarot card readers, oracle card readers, I published my first book, and it is the new book of tarot spreads. This book for 2022 is packed full of amazing spreads that I've designed for you to really dig into specific areas of your life. If you're looking to dig more into your personal life and in your relationships, if you're looking to do readings that help you really work on your professional development and your business and life, what are you working on? What are you committed to? What's your mission? Also spreads to work on your self-knowledge, systems like human design, numerology, astrology, stuff like that, so that you can keep track of the patterns that are unfolding in your life. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just really excited about the book, and you can get that on Amazon. It's available in Kindle format. It's available in paperback. I'll also post the Amazon links so that you can check out that 2022 new book of tarot spreads for yourself. All right, so I think those are all of my announcements and all of the information that you need. We've got the Intuitive Community Circle, we've got the 2022 new book of tarot spreads, and also, again, if you haven't done so yet, go get your notepad so that you can take some notes for all of the things that you're about to see in this epic reading for the year 2022. First off, when I'm looking at these cards, I'm realizing how funny it is that they just, all of these colors just look like they blend right into this table. How funny is that? So let's just take in this tapestry here. Here we see 2022 in a full essence. So let's just take a minute to let your eyes wander across these images. I will zoom in here so that you can see what I'm seeing. Notice what you're noticing. And let it speak to you. If you want, I recommend taking some notes in your mind, or, note to self, or pulling out a little notebook and having a ritual to capture some of the initial images that you notice. Because it'll be interesting, right? It'll be interesting, me to entertain you here. It'll be interesting for you to first notice and keep track of what you notice for yourself, and to find out if I'm going to be speaking to it. That's part of this conversation here, is what do you see? What does what you see mean to you? And what do I see, so that I can speak to you about what you may or may not see, and we can find something greater in the whole of our conversation, in this conversation, somewhere in the melding in the middle. One of the main things I'm noticing right off of the start of this is that there are several major cards here. We also have characters at play here. And not only that, but we have some special stories going on as well, which I find very interesting as we progress through 2022. This being the beginning, we're coming through the midway of the year, and then the end. We are really ending in quite a spectacular, I don't know, I just immediately want to call it a cliffhanger. Yeah, how necessary this crow is, and yet I'm seeing with this crow reversed at the end of 2022, this crow is really, it's flying up and it's facing this whole year. And so I'm very curious to find out where we end up, literally, as I continue this reading here with you. I'm noticing here at the top, we enter January in this expansive state of self, this great sense of embodiment, awareness, our feelings, our emotions. We are fully immersed in our awareness here. And we can not just even see, the landscape spread out before our eyes, but we are cradled by it. You see this whale is just on its back, it's floating, or is it? Who knows, who knows which way is up or down? This card's upright. Are we upright? Are you upright? I also want you to consider how there is a certain world that you knew, there was a certain earth that you walked upon. And now maybe you are visiting this world that you knew so well. You know the stories inside of these buildings. Now you can see this world from a different vantage point. From a vantage point as if you are even a time traveler, able to come back and you can choose to look and explore the past. But that is what it is now. It is time. The time is moving on. Isn't that why we value time? Isn't that why we build the story of our lives with time? Isn't that how we run ourselves, is with this sense of time? And so tomorrow, today, and yesterday, all in one image. That is January. January is going to bring this opportunity of being suspended in this realm of awareness, of emotions, of knowing that you are already moving on without even trying. You're naturally being moved. And so there's this inner reflection, and I love the whale because there's this bigness to your ability to see and perceive that is going to allow you to behold what all of this means to you in your life. Bringing us into karma. Beautiful to see this coming next. Karma in February, Black History Month. This is a powerful time for us to reckon with all of the things that we have witnessed that have been left unhandled, unresponded to. This is a time where you will find yourself, you see in this reflection, capable of seeing your relationship and your partnership and all of the things that you have experienced and all of the things that are happening, whether you are active, whether you are passive, whether or not, because you are. This is a time of seeing your whole self. This is a time of seeing your multiplicity of selves. And this is a time of reckoning in which you can press and play with your choices that you make. This is a time of really being able to look back and to see what mattered to you that you want to keep building along in your life. What do you want to keep telling yourself? What do you want to focus on? What do you want to bring justice to? What do you want to acknowledge and make important? What do you want to bring more of yourself to this table, to this mirror, to this balance, this great balance? What do you want to surrender your sense of control to allow it to be absorbed and integrated? This is what you can expect to really come to, because even this whale from January is leading you into this huge pinnacle state. And this is not just going to be on a personal level, but this is going to be taking place in all of the relationships, reorganizing themselves. And it's not surprising that we will end this winter of this deep inner reflection and reorientation with the 5 of trees. Here you can see that, there's all of these individual trees here growing, and they've been growing on their own. They've been independent. They have been, they've come to this point where they've gotten as big as they can at an individual level, and now it's almost as if it's too hard to distinguish what's mine versus what's yours, right? Because you can see now there's this huge globular singular mega tree, and all of these trunks are supporting this mega tree. Who knows what lives up in there? But there's a certain amount of, we see this skull here. There is a certain amount of, there is a certain amount of self-reckoning of how you as an individual think that you're an individual, but you've got this integrity of your individual energy, of yourself as a conduit, of yourself in relationship between, that which you take from the earth and that which you're supporting, right? And there's a certain amount of that which you're supporting that perhaps there are things in your life that you really feel entitled to or possessive of. Perhaps you even want to, claim ownership over what's growing here, and you want to have a say in that and make the shape of it. And yet, even what you see coming, what you're going to become even more aware of and more apparent of is how all of these other relationships, all of these other entities, all of the things that are beyond just your own two hands are also on the other side of your own awareness, supporting all of what you see. There's a certain amount of weight that these 5 trunks, let's focus in on time, linear numbers, finiteness, and let's speak to that, because there's a certain amount of weight that these trunks can support as a group if they're together. But if any one of them loses, if any one of them changes its mind, if any one of them is not getting the support underground that they need, if one of them is not getting the respect, let's keep coming back. If there is not justice, if there is not harmonious natural karma's still working, karma is still working. And that's why that which is built, you can even think of the things that you've seen back here. There are so many things back here that are going to be relics of the past, because what we're seeing is that there was not enough integrity. There was not enough true justice. There was not enough support. There was not a plan for where to hold that. And it's not, you can even think of, let's say that this amount of growth is the amount that would be sustainable for 10 tree trunks. And yet it was designed so that only these 5 would be there in the first place. Well, now if you bring in 5 more tree trunks, what does that do, right? Well, now you have to start competing and deciding and differentiating. What does that mean for this amount of resource up there? What does it mean over the possession, the entitlement, the ownership, the shape, the direction? Now we've got all these other trunks that are there to actually support its existence, but does that change the desire for this to even exist? Or is this no longer important, and is there death involved? So, coming down at a personal level, there are systems, there are structures, literal structures in your life that by the time you come into winter, ebbing into spring, and we come to the vernal equinox here, you can see the sun is even rising, shining light in some way on whatever this karma that's coming due is going to show you, in which there are certain agreements, commitments, involvements, relationships, to how you use your resources, to how you relate to, let's just even say, you can't really see it here, but I'm sorry, I'm digressing here. Excuse me, got carried away. The entertainer got carried away. Why not? Do you get the picture? Have I spoken enough about this for you? We're gonna move on because I can get carried away there. And I did. So, ultimately, I think what's kind of cool, what's kind of cute, is that here with this, we see that, you can find this fighter within you. What we're seeing here is someone who, I mean, for the first thing that I'm seeing is this person is in quite this stance of defense, and yet they hold such a big swooshing sword, and yet that sword is behind their back. Yet they're right out in the open. This isn't their first time. And it being reversed and showing, like, going this way, you know, you see the facing this, is there's this sense of the fight, the changes, the cutting, you know, the doing the destruction, if we want to think of that. There's a sense of the destruction is creating this pathway through. We have January, February, March, and April. There's this, you know, also with April being, you know, it's a really good, it's the true beginning. It's the beginning of a whole nother year for Earth and the seasons. Spring, we spring up, and we start with this. We start with this knowing that there is a new, there's this new battle, there's this new call to action, and the call to action here we see has to do with sacrifice, has to do with knowing the differences, has to do with reclaiming your identity, has to do with understanding that some of the things that are in our minds, we have to understand it's completely natural to change our minds. Our minds are something that continue to grow just as much as our bodies, just as much as our emotions. Our minds also change, and this is part of the sacrifice. I'm seeing that, like, these are upright, and then we have, as soon as we hit April, May, you know, coming into spring, there's this shift. So there is a clear indication that after this Five of Trees experience in March, there's going to be this new kind of relationship that really, mind you, it's coming from this karma anchor, this karma energy, is the sense of now I'm able to do it, because this is the character at play here, comes alive in April, and it's facing forward. It's one of the things that I'm getting from this being in reverse is simply the direction, even like it's in alignment. It's not the fighter in the traditional sense. It's not opposing what was anymore in the past. It's moving in a creative way, but in order to continue destroying what is in the way. What is in the way of growth? Here we have sacrifice in reverse. Oh, what's your relationship with sacrifice? Look at all of that. You know, I just even just see, like, I don't know, lots of pills and stuff. Lots of little, well, then a lot of little cosmic galaxies and whatnot. There's this sense of, you know, that which has not yet even come into form, that once form, and you make this sacrifice to sacrifice what already is for something that has not, for the unknown, to allow it to become known, to allow it to come into light, you know, all this color that you can see here. And with this being in reverse, it's this sense that what we are going to be fighting is our, whatever it is that is your personal relationship to sacrifice. You know, there are plenty of people who have made a lot of sacrifices in their lives. I mean, who hasn't? We've all made sacrifices and made compromises to our integrity, to our identity. There are a lot of hidden, unconscious, you know, I'll just call them entities that we are going to be fighting deeper inside to be able to create more space so that we can work with them. I like seeing these hands represented as there is a sacrifice in even our maybe it's even a belief that we need to be able to grab on, that why not? Can we just stay in this, and that this is not enough? Like, here we are right here across from each other. Is this close enough? Can this be close enough to recreate whatever it is that's in the middle of us. You know, there's a lot of perception shifting, which is why I think the beautiful thing, I really want to highlight your eyes here, over here, is the weaver. Here we come upright again. It's like we're fighting this. There's this little shift here. There's this inertia moving along. And then here we come from sacrifice, beautiful component to karma and sacrifice hand in hand here. And what we're seeing is the weaver comes in from the fighter. You know, what a beautiful way, like the creator, the weaver, you know, someone who weaves together as opposed to that who can cut it apart. So here we have, and I love how this ribbon is coming straight up from the Eight of Lotuses and the karma cards. And so what we're seeing is this sense of medicine, doing the work. You see that facial mask is a very interesting choice with the angel wings too as well. Very womanly, motherly figure. Here she's kneeling almost by the riverside. So there's this warmth and there's this power. It's almost like we're coming through this because she is now weaving together this understanding and this wisdom in order to build something. I mean, I just love how we're already seeing now we have the wanderer. The wanderer is in reverse. There's this sense of no longer being oh God, I love how that goes together so well. So with the wanderer here, there's, to me, it being in reverse, is there's this no longer the sense of the lost wanderer or like the sense of an aimless wanderer. Now there's the sense of wandering using this map that's been woven, you know? So we come into this coming at the crux of summer here now. And at the crux of summer, there's this sense of knowing exactly what you want to be seeing, and you're starting to walk in alignment with what you are seeing and telling yourself. This is the medicine at work. This is the healing at work. This is the motivation that comes that allows you to get up. Do you see how she's kind of kneeling and focusing and sitting down? So January, February, March, April, May, June, and July. So right here we have summer solstice. And so there's this balance between sitting down and coming into action. Here, when we see this wanderer upright, there's like this sense of like indistinguishable, like where are they? There's a lot of movement. You can't get a grasp on them. And it seems even just a little chaotic or a little mystical and whatnot, which is beautiful and fine. And then there's all this fire bolts and whatnot, a beautiful fire dancer you are. And here it's as if instead of this wanderer being more of an entertainer, here we are in one stagnant position. It's as if this is continuing. I just keep seeing it's continuing now to move along. So again, in alignment with the fighter, here we have the wanderer. There's this masculine motion. There's this going. There is this action being taken. Beautiful, because then what do we come to next? Right at the center of our year here in, so if this is July and this is August, in August, you know, this is right where we enter the Lion's Gate, 8-8, this is where 8-8 will happen for you. And that is karma, right? Is it not? 8-8. And here we have the bridge reversed. Immediately what I'm getting from seeing the bridge reversed is that the bridge is an illusion. You know, the bridge is an illusion because there's a sense that if there is a bridge, then you're crossing over something. No, you are the something that you're crossing over. You are already in it. You can't fall down off of a bridge if you are, you know, like you, that's part of what I'm getting is there is no lower ground or higher ground anymore. The bridge is an illusion. That's part of it, is like literally you are the light crossing the bridge. You are no longer going down a dark hallway towards the light. You know, that is such a, like a classic phrase or a thing that we tell ourselves is, oh, the light at the end of the tunnel or whatever. No, to me, what I'm getting from this is realizing, holy crap, we are the light in the tunnel of life, in time, right? We were talking and discussing about time. When we take time out of it, we just are light and darkness all mixed together in this endless eternity of infinity. Are we not? So I'm gonna just say something here at this point here for August. I think one of the main key things that you will enjoy during August is this spiritual passage into being the wisdom of what I'm about to say, which is, for a long time, you've been searching for the light at the end of the tunnel. But now, come this year, you are going to realize that you had the light within you. It's within you all along. Coming out of that, we come and we arrive in September at this beautiful growth, a beautiful growth from the start of spring to the end of summer. And what you're going to see at the end of summer is the true beauty. Do you see that? It's the true growth from the 5 of trees, bringing about this change, bringing about actions being taken in your life, inspired by the karma that you witness, that you understand in your soul, to making the sacrifices and learning from that, about learning about how every, sense of the word sacrifices may as well call it, what commitment am I making? What commitment am I, period? What am I? And I'm being that, no longer confused by othering yourself or comparing yourself. I love that reversal right there. There are lessons that are going to be learned, and that's what's going to bring about this beautiful weaving and allow you to move through into the 6 of trees. When you get to the 6 of trees, and when we together get to the 6 of trees, it's really this natural evolving from what it means to feel like, because you are an individual supporter, that you're either or. You're either with or you're without. What this shows me is that there will be a greater beauty, there will be a greater harmony, more resources will be shared in the way that is the truth, to be able to redistribute and reorganize based on the values that are coming through between us as the people who are deciding. Do you see this? So I love how in the 6 of trees we can see a big, huge singular tree. And it's around this huge, big singular tree that we then build the passageways and continue to allow the water to flow. We don't cut the tree out to build a highway through anymore. No, but we have these little places and spaces for everyone, where everyone can come around the great tree. Gardens are growing, and I see people even. In this one we don't. In this one we see wild, unkempt overgrowth, and I wouldn't necessarily call it corruption. I would just call it there's just a lack of empowerment that's waiting to be born in you. And that's what's coming through, is just more light, more realization that you are the economy. You are the power source. That's even just what the Matrix is all about. You are the power. You are pure power. Bam. Finished. This is not an entertainment. This is a truth speak. So 6 of trees, beautiful to see us coming to that in 2022, especially because the number 2022 adds up to the number 6. And the 6 is all about our roles, our relationships, and our responsibilities. And does that not all come back down to, what's my identity? Why am I alive? AKA, what do I want to be doing here? What am I learning? And how be I? Why be I? Lots of good questions to ask yourself. And to then, when you have your answer, to actually look at your answer to this question and then go, where does my answer come from? You might think that it's just coming from you, but there are a lot of ways in which your answer can loop back around and is coming from a lot of other places as well. So even if you want to say me, or, oh, I can see them, blah, 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 I think it's a very fruitful and worthwhile activity, reflection, work to come down into time, come down into relationship, if you're interested in this, and to literally unpack, how am I in relationship? How is all of these things, why I'm here, what I'm doing, who I am, who I want to be, who I'm becoming while I'm here, while I'm myself, and to show myself what part of this is really just the source of me and my purity, my true essence, and what part of this at true essence also ties into and relates to what me and myself means to other people. This is still you knowing yourself through what you think you know about other people. And then vice versa. What things do you unpack that you realize that's really an other that's informed me to be this way? Do I want to keep it? Do I want to keep it and shift my relationship to it? Do I want to shift my value? Do I want to shift my how important this is to me? Do I want to continue to consent, to age, sex, gender, all of these human qualifiers? Do I, and then what does that mean? What are my priorities of my layers of my identity? And what does that then allow or liberate me to do with my power? Because it does take a lot of energy to support the perception of reality. Absolutely. Moving along, summer, big things here for you and your being and your life that you're living in your world, in your body, in your family, in your relationship to the environment. And of course that brings about this fall into winter. Right when we reach this good place, I think that's the paradox, or it's the humor of everything, is right when things get really good, that was what it took to get there. And then the party's over. Here we have the sleeping ships. And this is our transition into fall, October. This is our reuniting with our spirits and our ancestors, and with honoring all that we've harvested. In October of 2022, we have the sleeping ships. And the sleeping ships is a very special window to look into. And so I invite you to look into it if this is a new window for you. The sleeping ships reminds us very much of this Eight of Lotuses. The sleeping ships reminds us that we can be in a time where we can see old worlds all around us before our own eyes. Old worlds that have gone asleep, dormant. There's wisdom that grows there. There are ghosts that lurk there. You can speak to the spirits and you can learn what you'll learn, and yet there's still time to move through. The sleeping ships, we think of ships as they're supposed, what's the purpose of a ship? The purpose of a ship is to be on the water and to be moving and transporting, keeping stuff afloat, at least. But at best, it's supposed to transport the contents across large bodies of water so that we don't lose it, so that it doesn't sink into, the subconscious and unconscious. What does this mean? What this means to me is that there is a lot of grief, a lot of gravity. Let's change grief into gravity. Let's talk physics here, because in our bodies, in our actual lives here, we don't just think about this life experience. We feel it, and it's not as fast as a word or a thought and an understanding, part of it is the time it takes to boil water. You know, it takes time to be like this. And with the sleeping ships, what I'm seeing is it being in reversed is this is going to feel like almost after everything that you figured out, after you become your own bridge and realize that as you become your own bridge, you're not just fixed or attached. You know, interesting that we are here attached to these 5 of trees. You're also capable of rebuilding your bridge every day to connect to that which gives you light, which gives you life. You see the crow. We're coming. Wait your turn. No, it was always you to begin with. That's the spirit of this year for you. 2022, you are returning to the skies. You are returning to the depths of your height. Pew. Karma. This is the 360 of the universe and how far out we look and we search for the ways we can extend ourselves, for the ways that we can defy gravity in order to learn what we are capable of. And we can bring all those things back down here in the smallness, and then we can go down into the microscopes, into the gaps and the cracks, and we try to marry and merge and bring harmony and play with the relationships, you know, the people who are suffering from cancer, from stuckness, from not, I don't know, anything, right? Anything. And with the sleeping ships, I see this is a slogging, is the word I want to use, a slogging sort of feeling of where all of us will be in our own relationship to this in a sense of, you know, we might spend some time here baffled even of how long is this going to take, or how did I get here, or has this been here all along? And suddenly I'm no longer experiencing my life as if I'm either above water or below it. I'm no longer feeling slow and suspended. I'm actually breathing and living in my physical body, and I'm learning to function in a landscape that is in the middle of great transformation, with the relics of the past, and letting them be relics because they are going to give birth to new wisdom if we keep trying to fit ourselves down inside of there. There's a different world now. We are all above water by October. It'll be a moment of, or it will probably bring about some pings of disbelief that will continue to, like I said here, November, 11/11, here's another big portal for us. 11/11, your relationship to the unknown, your relationship to your own unknown. In fact, something that I meditated on right before being here to entertain you with this reading is, working, when you think of fear and when you think of doubt, those are, to me, 2 of the most quintessential bad boys, nightmares. Those are the 2, evil bitches. And fear and doubt are these it's like they're these 2 key players in the theme of human life, or even just in animals, right? We get these core instincts, fear, but then doubt comes from this sense of crazy amounts of intelligence, of self-awareness, and like, what the heck, what are we doing with doubt? But really, I think that part of the beauty of fear and doubt is that when we experience fear and when we experience doubt, these two nightmares or bullies or like the bad guys that give us all of our problems actually are the exact same two best friends that allow us to open up and surrender to the unknown. If we quit trying to fight with them, I really see my own relationship with fear and doubt being like, what the hell am I letting myself like get smothered by my experience of them being in the room with me? What if I actually just kind of let myself wander, entertainer? Do you see, like, I entertain by organizing my wandering here. What am I so afraid of? I'm afraid of being here. That's really it. I'm just afraid to be here. I'm afraid that I'm being, oh shit. So part of it is I'm exploring this passageway of just, I am light, I am neither good nor bad. Fuck. Like, how can I be here? I am here. Hey, what's up? So that is part of what I'm getting from this upright, the unknown, is there's this sense of, because you'll be seen more clearly and you will also have the privilege to witness some disbeliefs popping up in your reflection of how you understand things to be, to wherever you get here when you're clear-headed, right? Like suddenly the water level comes down even further. The ability to be vulnerable, the ability to be completely like tenderly present in your body, and to begin to slow down to the point where you can breathe underwater. That's what I'm talking about. Are you afraid, what are you afraid of, drowning? Or are you afraid of falling from heights? These are the things, even like, let's bring it back to the Matrix. We don't believe it. That's okay, right? But part of it is that belief and that experience of protection. That's the same like structure that takes us into all kinds of spaces where we are not even standing on a cliff, right? But we're experiencing that same level of constriction and going back into that seed. And so that seed, like if we just let that implode a little bit, you're gonna get a light. You're gonna get an opening, and that's what this is you are going to become reacquainted with a sense of flow. And I just clap to that. Look at the alignment. Look at the universal, tapestry of the lights and darks and all the shades of gray and colors in between. I love that this is flowing from the wanderer, from the karma. It's like the wish that got made falls into action and just begins to flow, and it kisses the crow here in December. The crow is, in traditional tarot, this is the magician. This is also like basically when you die, this is the first birdie boo that comes to meet you and says, hey, yo, I am your creator. I'm you all along. And we're not flying out, we are actually literally flying right back up on our whole self here, because that's what this year is about. Again, with the 6, 2, 2, 2, and a little 0 in there just keeps it all real. With the 6, this is the sense of really realizing, like we're looking right here, we're kissing the unknown, we are flying, we are the darkness flying back into our own light. What I'm really seeing at the end of the year is there are these little lights that light up inside of you. I see 3 of them. There's this sense of direction. There's this sense of direction that brings you to look back upon 2022 when you do get here. You're on the brink of 2023. Beautiful. The numbers are lined up perfectly for us. I mean, that's why the words come so naturally, because it makes sense. We go from the 6th year and everything that we learn about the new ways of who we are. I mean, January to October, those 2 months alone, 1 and the 10, That's what that even represents. And look at the beautiful symmetry. Look at the beauty and why. You can hear how passionate I am about art. That's all this is art, vision. One is the beginning. This is how we know it to be. It's our baby original version. We can see this and we can understand this easily. What is the spirit? What is the greater grandma vision of the baby? Realizing that we could breathe all along. It's the same place. It's the same place. It's just aged. It's the same place. It's just safer because we're more confident in how we navigate it and how we relate to it. We can always relate to it like this. This always exists. This is what we're scared of. In a way, if we haven't experienced it, that's it. If you haven't experienced it. And that's what a huge part of this crossing of this bridge is. This is what your karma is this year. Bouncing around now. So with the crow, I'm seeing this beautiful sense of, one, you feeling it more truly in your soul and in your body, feeling more empowered, also feeling more capable of seeing and witnessing yourself and going, okay, I'm more comfortable now, owning my relationship to my power and what that means with all of my life, and also of the landscape that I am perceiving in my life here. You know, you can change your tempo. So with that 6, really this is prepping us then to go into 2023, a 7-year, a year of higher intellectual understanding, a year of greater introspection of the self, a time where you will be craving more understanding, more hermiting, more going into understanding the nature of your life, of appreciating it beyond just your material realm, you know, beyond this earth zone here with all of the material things, and making sure your body's, you know, happy, healthy, strong, and cared for, loved, accepted exactly how it is, so that you know how to be in love and in healing and in letting go, letting yourself be reacquainted with how death is a beautiful and natural part of bringing life and light into the entire space that you are. Please share your insights down below in the comments. Share what stands out to you and share your perspective. This is how we weave together all the meaning, and we make it, and we turn out synchronicities and can see what's happening here.
I hope that you have an amazing year.
Many thanks to you.